Hello there. This is LeRoi EspiriQuetzal, Q Shaman, with another video. Tonight we have a special treat. Um, if anyone likes my material, my aim is to bring you something that where you can leave with something of worth, and if you do find that you are more informed or just a part of something, please hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to receive my newest content when I drop it. So to just to let people know, my practice is very unique. You know, I, since I'm bound by blood to protect as Nahual, you know, I am. I use the term shaman because it's the most common nomenclature uh, that's misunderstood, but it's most known around the world. So it's what I would call myself and others like myself plant people. And so my days for 12 years is complete engulfing myself in research and investigations, all in an effort to raise awareness to protect people. And excuse me, yeah, I never rely on what I know as being fact. I just know that my logs, 2,000 poems with unique poems with a lot of links and stuff to all the information supporting my quote opinion. It's not really my opinion. I just find the newest information. So I'm constantly researching, and every once I have to go back and research, every single subject matter. It doesn't matter what. And tonight was a unique night because I went back and researched Nahualism, and I came up with a certain material that I'm going to be presenting here, and yeah, I'll go along with it, and we'll see how things go. Hope you enjoy here.
Hey, and I'm from the Nagual zone. Today I want to bring you a very interesting topic and a little bit of educational material. And this topic, surprisingly, people don't connect these two topics together, these two processes together. One is inner silence, the much talked about, lots of confusion. Everyone has their own take about it, lots of opinions. I'll leave you with that one. We've got opinions about inner silence. Doesn't make any sense, but everyone's walking around lots of opinions about inner silence, and then you have.
Well, first of all, right off the bat, he mentioned education, and what I would say as Nahual, there's no such thing as education. There is only indoctrination. Remember that. And then he said, the much talked about inner silence and that people have opinions. He was making a distinction that they, whoever they are talking about it, their opinions are less than his. This is hierarchical philosophy. This is European philosophy, and it's such a obscure uh, terms that he was using. Inner silence. I don't know. I mean, would anybody's thoughts on inner silence be fact? I would like to. I would like to see that dictionary. Like I would really like to see that. That way I'd have a. It's not in my logs. I've never. I could look. I could look through my logs right now, and you'll never see inner silence as a Nahual in my logs. 2,000 poems that he's mentioning here that's so talked about. But let's continue on.
The foreign installation. Now, both are actually two sides of the same coin in a manner of speaking. They're not the same thing, but are the they are they are partners in a sense. In a sense, I'll explain to you. So this video I'm gonna first focus on the inner silence and try and remove any confusions about something as simple as that. Why is there so much confusion about inner silence? because we can argue about the map, but you cannot argue about the trip. Do you understand that? So if
Maybe because it's so ambiguous. That might be a little something to ponder. Anyways, here we go.
a bunch of us go to New York ourselves, we've actually been there, we've experienced being in New York, we can talk about it. There's no confusion. But if a bunch of us look at a map of New York, never been there, just had glimpses of it on TV or YouTube or whatever, watched lots of documentaries, read lots of travel books, and we're looking at a map of New York, there will be lots of confusion. Oh, but I thought Central Park was there. No, but that documentary said it was there. And oh no, but that book said it was there. Oh, but everyone's gonna have their own opinions about New York. Simplest thing to do is just book a ticket, go there. Verify New York for yourself.
Huh. Now, this one I really liked what he said because, you know, he's speaking about verifying, you know, and I've stumbled across this man's site tonight, and I was quite astounded. Uh, I went in and being a Nahual, uh, I go around, I check when anyone claims that they're shaman. That's a very disrespectful thing, and not disrespectful to the shaman in any way. No, when I say disrespectful, is this person is disrespecting themselves. And as Nahual, I'm here to verify people talking shit. So here we go. I messaged the man and I said, "Hello, Anand. Thanks for your content. I'm curious. Your channel title is the Nahual Zone. Are you yourself a Nahual?" Because he's hinted to it so many times. He's gone through decades, quote, decades of training. And I was like, "Whoa, okay, decades of training." Well, my first instinct was to be like, "Okay, well, where'd you train? With who?" I mean, he's even saying it right here in his video. And so I asked him that question. He said, "I'm just a nameless nobody, worth no one's time but my own." Laugh out loud. They always kind of like want to make light of things. And so I said, "Well, but I hear you say trained for decades." Now this man looks tops, 50, 55 maybe. So decades would imply that he's 45, 35. And if he's training, there are agreed upon consensus of what it takes to be a shaman or a Nahual. Not that he was interested in it, but I said, "May I ask where you're trained?" And it's been 2 hours now. He hasn't got back to me. He got back to me the first time very quickly. But we'll see if he gets back to me soon. And so let's continue on and see where this is going. But he's talking about like going to New York. You just go to New York. And so I'm like, okay, well, let's see if he's gone to New York.
Yeah. What does it say in the book? Travel book? I'll go and verify. I'll go and check out Statue of Liberty myself. I'll go and check out that famous
Statue of Liberty, by the way, was designed by a quote black man who was indigenous here to the United States, and she is actually chained by her ankles. You can see it. Go look at it online. They won't show it anymore because they made her pull her skirt down a little, and her chain is still on her ankle. So like, I just wanted to include that because I just want you to know the depth of my awareness. I'm not interested in bullshit intelligence. Smart people really bug the shit out of me. But either way, here we go.
restaurant or Broadway or whatever are the features of New York. So you get the drift. That is why there's a lot of confusion about inner silence, because people are not taking the trouble to verify for themselves what it actually is. They're not going there. Now, here's the problem. Most of your mental space is taken up by the foreign installation, all its syntax, its grammar, its language, the matrix of the foreign installation. The entire realm of a particular person's mentality is filled to the brim, overflowing with all the crap of the foreign installation to the
Overflowing, filled to the brim. Well, I'd like to know, what is that space? How big is it? Is it like a hard drive? Is it like, a static state drive? Is it a spinning drive? Like, what does it take to fill that up? Uh, his references here are very ambiguous. He's trying to he's trying to create uh, his own little world here. Like, and for anyone willing to buy in. And so here we go.
the brim. I'm not even kidding when I say that. The mental realm is totally taken up. There's no wiggle room there. And that is how the foreign installation wants it. It doesn't want you thinking outside of its own demands and subscriptions.
What is it? This foreign installation. These terms, are very new agey, like they're new, and no one else has used them, but he's trying to make them a little mainstream in his own little world here. So we'll continue on.
What is the foreign installation? Again, big confusion, big debates, and books being written, and lots of scholarly foreign installation. Yes. Oh, yes, foreign installation. It all just makes me laugh. It's so simple, guys. It's so simple. Foreign installation is absolutely nothing more and nothing less than the victim personality inside of you. The predator that has installed the foreign installation in the human mold, right? The predator cannot afford for you to stop thinking like a victim, stop identifying like the ultimate victim of life. The ultimate victim of life. Oh, why me? Full of just ideas and nonsenses in the head. And that's exactly how the foreign installation wants you to be. It is called, John used to refer to them as the average man. And that's the terminology that Castaneda took on as well. And I kind of like that. The average man and the warrior, there is a clear distinction.
So he was talking earlier, like if you gotta, where's the book, to New York and all this stuff, and now he's talking about books that he had read. I've read the books, honestly, myself, and I was much in this type. I wasn't really in this type of realm, but I read them, and there was, Castaneda's books are, they're okay. Armando Torres, now those books they got a little something in there, okay, but here he is, like making like he's the sophisticate, and that he has some clued in to where these other people just lack, and that is typically something that is characteristic of a shaman or a nahual. But well, we'll see. I'll keep verifying here.
So you have the entire civilized world with the foreign installation. It's installed within your mind, and it takes up the entire space of your mind. So all it is, the average man is just a big walking victim. That's it. Now
he's saying it takes up your time. What I would call it is linear philosophy. We are indoctrinated into a philosophical construct that is very material based, and its language dictates the mechanics of our thoughts, which is governed by linear finite definitions of specific words that have multidimensional applications. So if I called this guy a Nazi, you know what I'm saying? I mean, because he's, you can see how he's kind of painting this picture, but most people would think I'm calling him an Nazi, like a Nazi, but I'm not. See, I'm calling him an Notsee, and therein lies the confusion of this language that some people get very skilled at. They can coax, they could con people into believing that they have a better grip on it. And you could be very much seen the same way with me. A lot of people have accused me of I'm manipulating sometimes. And I'm like, okay, that's one definition. Like I said before, life is complementary. Now, in my definition, which clearly is not interpreted by others, I would say I'm in relation with thyself, not others, because to otherize somebody is just a covert form of racism that was developed by a culture who would only develop that word to distinguish themselves from others. You see that's the difference in language. I don't know my indigenous language, but I do know that we did not create those types of words because it we would not allow that construct to be introduced to our cultures because it is poisonous and sick. So let's keep going here.
What happens if the prey stops behaving like prey? Breaks the whole game, right? Breaks the game. The predator cannot play the game of being a predator if the prey isn't cooperating. Here's why. Do you know what? Even the most experienced hunter, I don't condone hunting except when you are at survival level and then you have to fend for yourself.
Right there, he introduced survival, which again is within a philosophy, and that philosophy is a survival of the fittest, the fittest. The origin of the species, which is Darwinian theory, who happened to be cousins with Sir Francis Galton, who is the father of eugenics, uh, alongside a very unique individual, Johann Blumenbach, who is the father of anthropology. So you see, with these quote, sciences, they will introduce languages to unsuspecting, ignorant peasants like myself, and eventually we'll grow ahead and we'll, start learning their languages, and eventually we'll get to this guy here, like who made a real slip real quick, and to the unaware listener, they might have bought that, but not me. Nah.
Anyway, so take a hunter, goes out into the forest and wants to kill rabbits. What would happen if those rabbits stopped behaving like prey and turned on the hunter? You have a whole warren of rabbits. Do you know how sharp their claws are, how sharp their teeth are? If they latch onto your ankle and there's hundreds of them coming out of their holes, and you'll be dead within seconds. That is how powerful the paradigm of stopping behaving like a victim is. So the moment you stop identifying with the foreign installation, which is nothing more and nothing less than the big walking victim.
Now, how the hell could you just turn off something that is so deeply ingrained, not only in our culture, which is all Western? Anywhere you tell time dictated by Gregorian church, is colonized. Now, there's no place on the planet that isn't dictated by that clock. So it's not necessarily as he's trying to make it sound like it's easy, but he's trying to be like he's in one, there's the other, but no, Nahualism is complementary. That means it's inclusional. Complementary means to bring to perfection, to complete the quote other. And so what he's saying here is like you have to be one or the other. It's like no, you can be is and the other. So like if rabbits fight, and rabbits, they get very defensive. They can bite. Yeah, you are both. You can't just distinguish yourself from. You are the other. So, in his crude sophomoric explanation, he's running into paradoxes that he slides by very quickly. Let's continue.
you break the game. Now, here's where we start to understand how inner silence is intimately connected. Now, I'll tell you a little bit about inner silence.
Please.
There's masses of people who have tried this, including Zen monks, Buddhist monks, 40 years in Tibet. I am such a big boss. But no one has really, very few people actually have a handle on inner silence. I'll tell you why. Each one of you is not a master of your attention. That is why. So inner silence is intimately connected with you attaining mastery of your attention, your focus. Where your attention goes is what will start becoming more powerful.
Now, here again, he's why does he know, and who is he to qualify those who have the ability to practice inner silence? This is what I say. Linear philosophy is hierarchical. One of dominance. One of obfuscation. Like I said before, you can't just turn this off. I mean, every day you pay with dollar bills. Every school on earth is modeled after the Prussian model of education, 1837 Horace Mann. These are the Prussians who later became Nazis, very shortly afterwards. So for him to just give these ambiguous, just foolish, in my opinion, instructions to people he's trying to tell that they don't use their attention right. I mean, he's making a distinction between himself and the quote pupil, and to do so is mandated that one knows and the other one doesn't. As this is all based off of esoteric quote knowledge, which were born of white Christian mystery schools. Who was, before education was available to the public, they trained themselves in these private schools, and then they went out and started to build the infrastructure of the lands that they colonized. And then once they've established all the wealth, taken ownership of all the property and the minerals and materials, then they open school up to other people so that they can be held to the working class, so they can be little minion slaves for those who of the esoteric wisdom, that this man is full of. Well, let's continue on.
The problem is our will is so weak because our awareness is from birth being consumed like we consume chicken. That's the way our awareness is consumed from birth.
No one's awareness is consumed. It is led to believe. Sure, I mean, like that. Yeah, how can you consume awareness? I mean, I don't know where this cat is going, but I mean, let's just continue.
At birth, we are groomed as awareness food. We don't have any awareness, consequently, we don't have the necessary knowledge, or we don't even know where to go to acquire that knowledge about our attention, because our no awareness means weak will.
Now he says we don't know where, we don't have, how come we don't, but he does? Now, if he was a real Nahual, if he was an actual practitioner of Nahualism, he would very quickly be able to explain to you that, well, it wasn't until 1958 that white people, quote, discovered DNA, and they've been trying to unlock its secrets ever since. Atom smashers and all kinds of crazy stuff. But they are quickly becoming aware of the fact that all knowledge encompassing the whole planet is held within our DNA. For example, you cannot make or conceive of a computer from information outside of oneself, thyself, rather. that information comes from within. It's held within every single person's DNA. We we hold a pool of knowledge within us all. And mine happened by way of a life-threatening situation where my leg broke without having performed any type of physical actions, maneuvers, or anything. I was on my floor, and I'll get to this story eventually, but my leg just fell over and broke. And in that process, after time, I remembered that information. My leg had to literally break open for me to access what was then sequences of defense held within my DNA because of an attempt that was made on my life. That was my, quote, calling, which is what any Nahual or shaman experiences. No one should want to experience what I've gone through. It is, most people will die. I didn't even know what I was until this happened. But let's continue on.
Yeah. If there's weak will, your attention will be everywhere. If your attention is not, if you're not a master of your attention, the foreign installation will hijack it. And it will provide your attention with every manner of entertainment to keep you busy, especially in the spiritual realms or the inner world. It will give you with every manner of distraction, every manner of entertainment to keep you busy. Your task is to learn to shift your attention from your busy, full, chock-a-block mind, totally occupied by the comings and goings and the subscriptions and the demands of the foreign installation within you, which is the victim, to step out of that and focus, learn to focus your attention on.
Step out of that? That is so, oh my gosh. So in my application, since, like, as I said, all information is held within our DNA, I cannot teach anybody anything. That's pretty obvious to me. I mean, if we all have it, if information and knowledge is decentralized,